Welcome to the Good Pod. We're going to talk on season 5, episode 22, The Last Call. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Definitely
here.
still
We're
in
talking
mourning.
about the good wife, but I wish it was
Yeah,
under better circumstances for sure.
I wanted to make sure that you were at least okay, good, because I got a phone call from
Yeah.
you. I missed it.
Yeah.
You were very vague on the voicemail. So of course, just so many thoughts went through my mind. It's just like, Jason, the Good Pod is over. I'm done with you. The Will thing is my last straw. I can't
Oh
watch it anymore. We're
no.
done. Now,
Oh
it also could have been Jason. Like I just wanted to let you know I love covering the show with you,
yes.
and this momentous moment is proof of that. Like we've been doing such great work, and I was racking my brain trying to figure out what it could have been.
Oh, I'm so
Uh,
sorry to have haunted behind your eyes with all of
yeah,
the scenarios
so much,
because
so much.
I
I
really didn't intend any of that. I just wanted to say like, hey, what time are we recording
yeah,
today?
I just want to apologize to your mom, your dad, your sister, all your other friends. I personally flew to Chicago and just
He
like
did.
I knocked on your parents' door. I was like,
Not to
hey,
see
hey,
me. He
like
didn't
hey,
see me at all, but he saw
hey,
everything.
hey, Marissa left me a voicemail. It wasn't specific. Do you know how Marissa's feeling about me right now? Like, do you know? Do you understand? Your parents called the cops on me. Totally understandable. I
No.
get it. I understand. Your sister just wanted to she wanted to vent about you, and I was just like, that's not what I'm here for. But okay. And so it's just a variety of things that happened as I was trying to just get some information about how you're feeling about me, about the podcast. But luckily, I do have you here,
Luckily.
live and in person to talk about it. Unfortunately for Alicia, she did not have that privilege this episode. um, yeah, listen, I'm trying to be upbeat, but once we're still in mourning. We're still
We're
in mourning
still in mourning.
for our friend Will Gardner. Um, I will say, as shocking and impactful as last episode was, I mean, at the very end, of course, this episode really for me was just like was the real reaping of what was sown in the last episode with like all like just sign everyone up for Emmys after this episode. Like it was just the acting was so top notch. I loved it.
Yeah, and I thought like you could really signal like it was like obviously a change because Will is no longer here, but like I just kept when I was listening or watching it, I was like, it's so quiet. Like it's such a quiet but loud episode. You know what I mean? Like the audio is quiet. There's not a lot
Yes.
of like background noise. There's not a lot of background music. There's not a lot of this and that. It's just purely sitting with our characters in this moment. And I think that really helped like the emotions. Like a spoiler alert, I come out of this episode going, David Lee, look at you.
I
Look at you
mean,
being a human. Look at you. So it was, like
but
very effective.
he can't show people he's a human.
No.
He has to run fast to get a solitary human moment. He cannot let that mask slip at all. Quick tangent note for me. I did I call this season 5 episode 22 in the intro? I don't know because I'm
I don't
looking
think
at my
so.
notes and I don't for some reason I put season 5 episode 22, but I know it's episode 16.
I think
Uh
he's 16.
yeah, I don't know. I have my notes and I have the notes of the podcast. I'm not sure why I put episode 22. I
It's
maybe
your
I was
heart.
thinking
Your heart
I
was
was
just
thinking
like,
this was
just
like a season
say it.
finale or something. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, skip. Okay. Let's skip that. All right. So before we really dive deep into the episode and really get started, I want to remind you some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is you are watching and or listening. It really helps us get into the eyes and ears of more people that would appreciate this content, like you that are already listening and watching to this. So help us out. Review, rate, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit a thumbs up. If you are listening on a podcast app, hit follow so we get more subscribers. All that stuff gets us into the algorithm. That the sainted, mysterious algorithm, so that more people will discover this show. I've been trying. I've been out there on Reddit. Anytime I'm on Reddit, I see people like, "I started a rewatch," or "I'm just doing my first watch." Like, hey,
Let me
hey,
tell you one
I'm
thing
here.
There is no bigger hype man for this podcast than Jason Reed. And so if you could help even anything you do here is to help Jason. Like it's to
Yeah.
help everyone, but like support let Jason know that you see his work being done because by liking, subscribing, giving us a rating, because this he is pounding the pavement all the time to make sure that people know about this podcast, and it would not like we would not be here. Like I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but Jason's out there, you know, making sure people know about it. So if you want to do Jason the solid, follow
Marissa,
advice, do all the stuff that he mentions, because I cannot do that. I am not that person. So I'm very,
uh,
very grateful that he is who he is.
Marissa, that was so. I gotta take a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Jason, don't even leave me. Don't even leave me.
Okay. I'm back.
Welcome back. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
You do not call any of our listeners and let them know about this moment. But I feel like, given the circumstance, we gotta give our flowers when we can. So I wanted to
yeah.
make sure.
Of course, and of course, listen. Literally, none of this would be possible if Marissa's not here doing all the things she does on the technical side, because I barely even know how to work my computer, as Marissa will attest to on the several occasions that my computer has died while we are taking this podcast because I forgot to plug my computer in.
We make a good
So,
team. We're a good
yes,
team. We're good.
for
We
sure.
are, as they say, the Diane and Will of
Yeah,
podcasts.
we're the Diane and Will of podcasting, Marissa. I keep telling you that. We're the Diane and I mean, listen, maybe now I'll switch it to the Cary and Alicia
Yeah, I think
since
it is time for a switch.
I don't
Yeah.
want to die because I'm the Will. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
gender
I'm
norms,
dead
whatevs.
for sure.
But yeah, happy Pride, everyone. But yeah, Jason, anything else?
Yeah, you can always, if you want to give us your thoughts, your feedback about the will stuff. We still want to take all your feedback, and as people are rewatching and finding this podcast and finding we still want to hear your thoughts in the moment. I mean, it could be season 7. I still want to hear your thoughts about Will
We
dying.
always want to hear your thoughts.
If you're watching this in your real time while you're rewatching the show, we always want to hear about it. So you can always do that. You can always hit us up at the goodpodfeedback@gmail.com to share your thoughts about the show. You can also buy us a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. Shout out to Bex, who we will be talking about in our kind of like feedback section, because they left a fantastic, note for us in the email about all the Will stuff, and also bought us some coffee. So Bex, thank you so much for that. It is really
Yes.
greatly appreciated. So if you want to join Bex and being one of our great listeners and watchers and all that, hit us up at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. It literally helps this podcast stay alive.
It really does. It really does. And I will say, we do have this is like a good pod first, Jason. I think this is our first after this episode, the next episode you hear on your feeds will be a bonus episode
Mhm.
where we will dive deeper into Will's story. So thank you for supporting our podcast so we could do something like that for you as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. With all that out the way, let's get into the episode.
All right,
It's a very
here we go.
impactful episode. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we kind of, as one would imagine, pick up well, not exactly, but a few
Like
seconds
we back up,
before.
make it back a
We
little
back
bit.
up
Yeah.
a little bit. It's like, like if you ever hit like rewind on a VCR and it would like
Or
rewind.
I mean, or your DVRs now. Like every time I
Yeah.
like, because I mean my DVR knows I'm not like my reflexes aren't great. So like I know that you meant to hit play like at this moment, and your brain and your finger could not communicate fast enough to get at the exact spot you wanted. So I'm gonna back you up a few seconds to because I know where you actually wanted to go.
Yes. And we see the moment where Kalinda is telling Eli that Will is dead. But we see it from a different perspective, which the good wife has done on a number of times when they've restarted from the exact place. But it's still hard to see.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been someone that's had to deliver like news like this,
Uh-huh.
and this episode in particular really made me think about how do people convey information, convey traumatic information? Because like, and as we go through the episode and people are telling people about what happened, I'm just like, there's some better way you could have done that. Like,
Is there though? So like I've been
I don't
thinking about
know.
this too because okay, so like the phrase for this entire spoilers is Will is dead. Like Kalinda tells Eli here, Will is dead. As other people are telling other people, They just say Will is dead. And I think one of the things that stood out to me as people were giving and receiving this news is it's so like not understandable. Like it doesn't, like they can't wrap their minds around it. There's nothing else to say other than the truth.
Mhm.
But also, like being direct like that and being clear is kind of kind, as opposed to like going, so Will, your friend that you loved a whole bunch, and then like he was in court today and this whole thing happened and blah 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 blah. Like I think there's I think it's hard to deliver that type of news at different points
Well,
after we're still in like same day world right
yeah,
now.
we're
We're
like a
still,
couple hours after,
yeah.
and probably, and it's like, and you have to always also remember, like especially in this instance, Kalinda's also traumatized currently, so it's not as if she can really even have her faculties. Well, she's still in shock herself, so it's not as if
Yeah.
these people can have their faculties like, okay, how's the best way? Because like Kalinda in this moment is like, hey, Alicia, Will has been shot.
Well, no, Alicia, she hasn't told Alicia yet. So like she tells
Right.
Eli,
Yeah.
Eli goes to Alicia, and then Alicia takes the call. Again, we hear the yes, Kalinda, like
Like,
very
what?
dry,
What,
very like
girl? I don't
what?
talk. I don't F with
Yeah.
you no more. I don't talk to you. What you want? Like, why are
And
you calling me?
and Kalinda, she's like, I have something very important to tell you. It's about Will. He's been shot. And then we have to remember that Kalinda did just walk out of seeing dead body Will. Like
Mhm.
the and so
Going back.
then
Mhm.
she says to him, Will is dead. Like just after she told Eli again, Will is dead. So she says that, and she breaks down, and you can not breaks down, but she starts crying. It's a breakdown for Kalinda.
She
And
stops.
then
She like Will's dead. Like you
and
can hear like I mean just like wow, pitch perfect for Archie Punjab. Like Will's dead. Like oh, like
yes,
that was good
yes,
because you're still Kalinda, but you're getting a little like it's breaking through of like
the heartstrings
yeah.
are being
Mhm.
pulled. And then Alicia's like, this cannot register for her because she's like, I
Mhm.
just saw him
Yeah.
yesterday. I just saw him yesterday. And this is something I think, if you listen to our bonus coverage, you'll hear us talk about this a lot. But I think this is something by design by the Kings. They really wanted this to be a surprise death, like something that kind of takes the characters and the audience as by surprise, and the fact that like everyone's kind of just like, I just saw him. I just saw him. Like
Mhm.
this is something that can happen in everyday life. So, um, again, remember to tell people that you care about them because you never know what could happen, type of thing. Which we'll talk a lot about more about the Kings later, but yes. So
But, but again, like the way she's like, again, I would rather someone tell me someone's dead and then tell me the manner.
yes,
Like because when Kalina goes, Will's been shot. It's like at first I was like, oh my god, like he was shot. That's terrible. He's shot in the shoulder, shot in the arm. Like how long is the recovery time going to be? And then it's like, oh no, he's not just shot. He was shot dead. Like he's gone.
well, could you imagine? Like, it was Kalinda telling Alicia here, like, this is like, hi, we can't be in the same room
Oh my
together,
god.
but also, I'm supposed to care about you, and we're supposed to be best friends, and also, I need to deliver the fact that the man that you love was shot and killed,
Ugh.
and so,
Yeah,
like,
there's no right
it's
way
a
to do
tall
this.
order,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So at this point, remember Alicia is at the correspondence luncheon and with the horrible comic, and she bails on this event. She walks out because obviously, and Eli is like, "Go! There,
Well,
you are in no way to be up on a dais right now." Because Eli is kind of playing a dual role here. He's playing friend to Alicia, and also who knows what the hell she's gonna say when she gets up on
right.
that podium. And
I want to give Eli more credit and say that this was like a truly human moment. I mean, this is a big episode for
it
people
is,
that don't that don't usually show these human attributes or human traits showing their human traits and attributes. And I think it's more about Eli's like this woman has just been like destroyed.
it is.
Like
I think the point I'm trying to make is there that like it's a both and. Like, it's a
sure.
and so, like, his heart is leading in this situation, but in the back of
Mhm.
his mind, he's thinking, "Oh, shit. What if she goes and she talks about Will and all of this stuff?" And also,
Yeah.
like, does that look like? And so he has to make a choice. He doesn't put that choice on Alicia like Alicia sometimes does throughout the rest of this episode in terms of trying to figure out what the heck Will was talking about to her. But like he takes this moment and says, "You go, I'll take care of this." Like,
Right, and I love that about Eli because it is a truly human that like I can't expect you to come up here right now and start like chilling for Peter and talking as if nothing just didn't happen. And
yes.
it doesn't it's not a big it's not something big for Eli because I think anyone in Eli's shoes would have and should have done that. Like don't worry about because I mean Eli's known to put Peter's campaign and career over everything, but now this is like this is a moment where this trumps nothing. So it's like no, you go get out of here. And I think it's because of Eli of Alicia's shock, where it looked like she might have actually gone up there and like started talking. If
Yeah, like she was like she just was numb to everything and she was
yeah,
like a robot like going to the next thing.
yeah,
And Eli also to put ourselves in Eli's shoes, Eli is also affected by this news. He did have a really not a strong relationship with Will, but worked with you know what I mean? Like there's
yeah.
a lot going on for him. And so when Alicia leaves, Eli's like, I got this, I'll take care of it. He goes up to the dais. This man cannot like first of all it's Eli so I don't know what he would be like in normal circumstances but he just starts reading what's on the teleprompter and I just have to say who the heck wrote this speech because this speech was horrible
It was pretty
but
bad.
Eli gets up there and he's like what can I say about the man I share my bed with? And like all this stuff he couldn't think outside. He too was still in shock that he could not think
Yeah,
outside of the
and
teleprompter.
I really appreciate the Kings and well I think he did write this episode. I appreciate the writers of the episode really injecting some levity in here because this was hilarious. Like he's like Peter and I have had our disagreements. Who takes out the garbage? Who
Changes.
changes the diapers? Like the way Alan Cumming like delivered that was so great.
It
Like
was.
really good. So I appreciate the Kings for like putting it in there of Eli truly having like an Anchorman moment of just reading what was on the teleprompter, which I don't know why he decided to do that. Why he didn't just like, all right, forget the teleprompter. I'm just gonna go off the top of the dome. I do think Eli has like that like capability, but I just think also in the moment where you just got this news, like you just go on autopilot and just start. Like you can't
Yeah.
really think, so he's just like, but he knows he knows he's saying the crazy stuff. He's like, and then just Peter getting there and being like, the hell's happening? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
he's like, "Oh, what? Alicia's gone, Eli's on the dais, like, what is happening here?" So then we cut to Alicia in the car, she's driving, she's having these flashbacks, she's trying to make sense of what she just heard. So she's getting these, like, fictitious flashback well, she sees Will's face, of course, because, I mean, it's Will's face. How would you
Well,
not want to see Will's
and
face?
she sees Will's face in like in happy times and in angry times, like
Yes.
literally as he's like screaming at her about her like leaving the firm. Like that was what that moment was from. And
Yes.
I didn't clock this until the second time I watched it because I did watch this more than once. And as Alicia's like looking outside her like windshield, she sees the birds. I didn't clock until the second watching that the birds are like it's almost like the birds are coming out of her of her what is it the rear view window? Yeah, the
Yeah.
rear view mirror. And
Yep.
it's like it's coming out as a bullet. Like they're in a
Oh,
bullet
wow.
shape.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like they're
yeah, yeah,
coming out
yes,
like
yes,
the
yes.
birds are like they're coming out of the bullet of, as a bullet of a gun. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's good. And then she's like, and it's what you would imagine, right? If you have this traumatic situation, you just hear this traumatic news, like it's all quiet, it's all silence. Like it's almost as if you see these like you hear the ringing in the ears of like
But she
nothing
she
else is going on around
she does not think it's Jeffrey Grant
me.
doing it.
Yeah.
She, like she's trying to put these pieces together in terms of how, and she imagines that he was like shot point blank, and like all of this, like all of this is just her mind trying to make sense of a moment. And I can tell you, whose mind doesn't try to do that? Like
Oh, sure.
we've all been through, our own personal
I
tragedies,
mean,
and then
your mind
also
can't really do that, but
I
if
can't.
it could, you would try to do that.
No,
You
but
could,
I try. I do it in my own way. I can't see it, but I can feel it, and
yeah.
I know it.
It is interesting
Very
how
weird.
because she was told by Kalinda that a client shot Will in the courtroom. She just
Mhm.
Kalinda doesn't say it was Jeffrey Grant, so she sees this like random person in an orange jumpsuit. Listen, thank goodness it was not a black man in a jumpsuit. They did the right thing. Um, because hey, if it was Jackie, she definitely would have really imagined that. But yeah, just like it's just a random guy in an orange jumpsuit because it was probably someone coming from prison, right? Like
I
it
mean,
was an orange jumpsuit from prison. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I'll really put that little detail in.
I was trying to figure out if we knew that person, if it was like someone,
Yeah.
because there was talk of like covering, because this is not a white man. This is a Hispanic person, I think,
Oh, okay.
in there. And so
I
I
don't think
don't
it's.
know, like
Hmm.
I don't know what I would, but I didn't recognize this person. So she's trying to put everything together in the car, and then we cut to LG, and we see that Diane walks in. She is numb. She's still, processing all of this stuff. She walks in, everyone's like, "Where were you? Partners are waiting for you on a vote on the LA office." So that has and Diane sits down at her desk. She looks across the way as she would normally see Will, and Will's not there. So this kind of like she cries a little bit, but this also kind of grounds her in the basically everything I do from beyond this point forward is going to be to honor Will in some way. Like she's like, this is how what I'm gonna do. So she walks in and she tells the partners, and all the partners are like, ah, Robble, 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 you're late,
Can we
Robble, Robble,
before
Robble.
we get into that though? Can we do something a little fun and silly for this serious episode? I want to give a sob rating for all the sobs that we have.
Sure.
What how like out one through five. One that was a weak sob. That was not a good sob. That was weak sauce. What are you doing? Go back to acting school. Five being like
Oh, I was like, you're selling that to Christine Baranski right now? Like,
no, no, no. Like five being like, oh, that was just a great sob. That was a really, really good sob. You're good. Let's do the Alicia one first. In her car, she sobs, so she gets in her car. How would you rate that one?
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't. I was like, but I don't think like. Uh, did I believe it? I guess it's like a 4.
a four. Yeah, I put it at a three. It was okay. It
It's
wasn't like
okay. Yeah, it
great.
was like, eh.
And then Diane when she gets in her office here, she does the. I give that a four. I give that a four.
Yeah, but I also think that like I'm also considering like true to character, so I would put it at like a 4.5 because I think
Well,
that like a Diane again coming from the old school, we do not show emotions in the workplace. We do all this like she let it come out, but then also she pulls herself back together, goes into this meeting. We've got the robble, 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 and she's like, she goes right into it. She doesn't try to say like, yeah, I was late, blah blah blah. She's like, we've had a situation. There was a shooting at the courthouse, and Will is dead.
ooh, it
And
was
everyone's kind
so.
of like, what? What? Like trying to figure out again. But we would see David Lee leave. And I was like, what? What? And he walks through the office and he sees everyone watching the news because now we're at the point where like the general public is knowing what's going on. And he shoos people from a conference room downstairs, and we see a David Lee sob.
That of like a that
That's
was a
like the most, yeah,
that
that's
was
a
a
5.
five. That's a
That's
five.
a yeah, like
You really got to put like also put into the equation like this is David Lee we're talking
yeah,
about,
exactly.
and the fact that
Exactly.
he like ran away to like go show a vulnerable side that he knows in a moment no one else can see, and for it to be such a quick sob, and then back to business was just like oh
Well,
so perfect.
and also like yeah, like usually he'd be the one that'd be like, yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but like
Mhm.
it in whatever, and he does this, and then we also see Gail the intern who's
Bruh.
crying,
The
and it's speaking
sob
of
rating of a one. F you,
yes,
Gail. F
yeah.
you.
Well, first of all, who are you? But second
Who
of
are
all,
you?
like, and that was pretty much how we see it. So we hear this like wailing of sorts, like oh, and Diane's like, "Who's that person? Who's that?" And they're like, "I guess it's Gail, the new intern." And Diane walks up to her and is like, "Are you done? Are you done crying?" She's like, I don't know."
Well, and like
And
it just because she's like it's the signs of fake crying, because like when you're confronted, like what, huh? Because I mean, she almost automatically stops crying. You're like, huh? Like, am I done? I mean, I don't know when I'll be done. Like, because and Diane's assistant, like, because Diane's like, who's that? She's like, yeah, how long has this girl been here? It's like, she's been here a week. So it's like, oh, like this is someone that does not know Will. This is someone that is not like, that is
Right.
like doing theatrical crying because that's what she feels like gets her attention and feels like what she should be doing in this moment. Like,
I'm gonna look at this with a little bit of a different, like, 2026
oh,
lens.
okay.
Like, well, or just like a more, I don't know. We don't know everyone's stories. We don't know any of this stuff. So, like, I know in this case, I know Diane is like, this is too much. This is theoretical. But I'm just saying, in general, if someone is having this type of reaction and it's a little too much, maybe the first route of action is not to walk up to them and say, "Are you done crying?" And maybe it is
Okay.
to say, like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because maybe this person was affected by gun violence, and maybe this person or has someone who works in the courthouse, or maybe like there's so many
Yeah.
different ways that would cause this type of reaction. Obviously, the character itself was a little bit over the top, but I'm just speaking to the general, like, reaction police of it all. Like, we don't know
So
necessarily
there
what
should
is
have been
going on
there
behind
should have been a
every
line of
person.
dialogue in there that was like, he was such a good man, or he was like, or
Something.
something that makes us think that she wants people to think that she knew who Will was, so
Yes,
that okay.
and because we didn't get that, then I believe that she was overreacting. But I just think,
Mhm.
like, for going in just thinking that she's over it. And Diane here is also in a traumatized state and is also like wanting to get vengeance for Will. So she's not going to have that conversation. She's not going to open up that door. She's just going to be like, "You're crying, you're out." Like,
Yeah.
we have work to do here. We need to protect this man's legacy. We need to do what needs to be done here. And so I think what we have here is, like, uh the effect of trauma in relationships just in general, because Diane's not going to open the door to ask if anything else is going on. And if this person was, which I don't think she was, but if she was reacting, she's not going to be like, she's not going to explain it all.
Yeah, I do,
So
but I do think the intention of the moment of the kings, because the kings are probably like, oh, we didn't even think of that. Like,
sure,
I,
yeah, no,
I think the intention of the moment in the scene is like, this woman is overacting about
yes,
this. It's
yeah.
like, Grant's like, Will's my best friend that I've known for a decade
Well,
plus, and I'm not having this reaction. No one else like, and she didn't know who Will was, so she's just acting right now, and she
do you
wants to
think it's
call attention to herself, and so I have to dismiss her rudely.
that part? I don't know, and I don't know if we'll see this going forward, but I think Diane does not look kindly about anyone who makes Will's death about themselves.
Well, of course, yeah.
And there is a character in the show that we will talk about. I don't know if it's making the death, but at the moment, like, if conversations with Alicia had gone even further, I don't know. I just was like, Alicia was like walking a line of it being a little bit about
Yeah.
her.
Yes.
So at this point, Alicia arrives into all of this. Diane sees her right away, rushes over to hug her. Obviously, these are two people who were the closest to Will, especially in this environment, let alone in life. And so they embrace each other in grief, basically.
Yeah, and it's like it shows like it, and that's the thing about life too, is that you could be having a tiff, a feud with someone close to you, but if you have this shared person in common that this happens to, like, that all kind of goes out the window.
Oh, or it can go either way, right? Like, we're seeing it
Mhm.
right now in New York. New York is celebrating up the wazoo because the Knicks have won the NBA championships. Well, but everything, I'm sure nobody cares. Nobody cares about any of the other stuff
Yeah.
that's going on. Nobody cares because, and that's great. That's what makes humans human, is like we can have these moments that level some of and ground some of the arguments or thoughts that we have about other people. And in this case, unfortunately, it is the death of Will
Yeah.
Gardner.
But
And in life right now, we've got celebrations throughout New York.
it was just so good to see the relationship between Diane and Alicia this episode specifically, as having this shared loss where, everything else is just drowned out. It's
Well,
just,
and everyone too, right?
yeah.
Like, it happened with David Lee. We're seeing it here with Alicia. But yeah, this is, like, and this also is showing how central Will was to
Yeah.
everyone here.
Yeah, and like they embrace immediately. It's like, oh, that's so good to see because like in Diane and Alicia never even had like this crazy close bond relationship before, but this is bringing them together in a way that we've never seen before.
Yep, yep. At the courthouse, Kalinda's Kalindaing. She's like gonna keep going. She's gonna keep digging. She gets help from Detective Lady
Jenna,
Jenna.
I was like,
Jenna.
oh, I was like, why is Jenna here? Like, I did not want Jenna to ruin this. I was like,
She didn't. I
I
don't
thought,
think she did.
like, it was almost like I thought this was just for family. Like, I thought this episode was just gonna be about, we're just gonna be for the family, right? We get our core five or four now, and that like, why do we need anyone else? But Jenna did okay. She was here. She not getting in the way. She was not cringy like she normally is. I was like, okay, she can stay. She can stay.
Kalinda walks in to overhear the sheriff kind of telling his point of view, and he's like, "I got a text from my girlfriend. My girlfriend's pregnant," and he's like, "Don't text during court." He's like, "I didn't text. I got a text." And then, being questioned, "You didn't go after him," and he's like, "I wasn't gonna go after him. There were shots everywhere." And this is when Kalinda's like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
And then she goes and asks Jenna, "Where's Jeffrey Grant? Like, I got to talk to him."
You know what really sucks about this whole thing is that this was done, this whole Jenna Kalinda side quest, pretty much only because Archie
Mhm.
and Juliana can't be in the same scene together. Because Kalinda could have been at LG, like she could have been in the mix, but because Alicia was back and forth in and out of that place.
I would say, or even reverse, Alicia could have played the role of Jenna here and
Yeah,
helped because she's the governor's wife. You're going to tell the governor's wife you can't go through to talk to a sheriff. You're going to tell the governor's wife. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it could have been a little bit different.
I did, but and to say that and to also be appreciative of the fact that we did have all of our characters kind of in their own moments of grief and how they process grief, right? We had Cary on his own, we have Kalinda on her own, we have Alicia on her own later, but she does have the moments with Diane, and Diane's also kind of like in her own space, and we get to see kind of them by themselves and how they process grief and what their reactions are to grief in the moment. So I do appreciate that, but it also is annoying that Kalinda could not really associate with everybody else because of this
Even Cary, like she didn't even
schism.
go be with
Yeah,
Cary,
that was
even though
weird.
they're together.
But
But
yeah,
yeah. So Diane tells Alicia at this point that it was Jeffrey Grant that killed Will, and Alicia's like, "That's supposed to be my case." We just like we had talked about last episode. She's probably going to blame herself for this, which is starting. David Lee interrupts this conversation, and he does again in the most human way possible send his condolences to Alicia. Tells it to her is like, "I'm sorry, Alicia,"
which is
and
so
he's
funny,
like,
right?
"Oh,
Because like people are treating Alicia like the mourning wife here.
the
And it's
widow."
like,
Yeah.
yeah, the widow of Will. It's like that's such a wild mind f to be like, listen, like no one's gonna pretend anymore. We know that you and Will like were a thing. Right? So like I want to send you condolences because I know you were real close to Will Gardner. Like real close.
Yeah. Yeah. Alicia at this point is now rerunning everything, this time with Jeffrey in place of the killer. So she's trying to still piece together what happened in her mind that way. She gets a call from Cary. Cary's like, "Hey, where are you? Like, there's a deposition." And Alicia's like, we're gonna need to delay." It's like, what? It's like, Will is dead. Again, the phrase "Will is dead" is like, if the like the, the Kings could not be clearer with the audience here, as well as like, he's dead. Like, he's not coming back. Like, he's dead. He's dead. This is not going into some supernatural world. Like, he is dead. Um, and Alicia's like, "We're gonna need to delay the deposition." And this is where we hear Cary like check in on Alicia and say, "Are you all right?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, yeah."
It's
And
also love Carrie's like shock and like he stutters like he can't process the information in real time. He's like what like what and he like you said he does get together enough to be like, are you okay, like Alicia, like because hey, we all know you will have this thing. And so yeah, the reactions we see from Carrie in the moment and from Carrie later on are interesting because it's kind of showing all the reactions to grief in a way. And I just loved how he reacted to them. Of like he's like stunned. He's stunned into just stuttering.
And I think again, as you said at the beginning of the podcast, he's been comparing himself to Will this entire
Hmm.
time. And so I think this hits a little bit harder for him. He does turn around and tell Candace. Candace was one of the first poached clients that we saw.
Well, she was newly poached apparently, because we if you remember Candace was at LG on the day that everything fell apart for Will and
For
Cary
yes.
at LG. She was like they were doing this deposition. She used Candace to distract Will on the day of, like that was that whole thing. She was in Alicia's office with Robin as it was all going down. And so, but apparently, like, they had just freshly poached Candace because I guess there's still some time between the schism day and this day where they were actually able to get her to come on board at Fort Agos. And so yeah, it's just like, oh, Candace is here. Interesting. Because I saw her, like, I have to remember where she was. So she looked familiar. I looked her, I was like, oh yes, she was the person, like literally in the center of the whole storm of Alicia and Cary leaving LG.
She's at the beginning and the end of the Will schism story.
Mm-hmm.
David Lee goes to talk to Diane and says, look, we got to tell the clients, we got to protect the firm here. We got to protect. And Diane's like, can you please just give this like one day? And again, we're so used to seeing David Lee like chomping at the bit, going after business, going after money, that the delivery here of, I don't want to be doing this any more than you do. But unfortunately, the car is moving and we need to break it to the clients. Like this was again, like David Lee is still in it. Like he hasn't moved on from the news. He's still human David Lee at this moment when he tells this to Diane.
And I think a couple things are at play here, right? Because this is David Lee. At a certain point, he's like, "This is my reputation of being ruthless, being cutthroat, being the one to only be thinking about business. So this is kind of what I do." And I also think this is his way of grieving,
Yeah,
because
the car
if
is moving. We got to keep
yeah,
going.
if he wasn't doing this, who knows what he'd be doing? He did.
Well, and you can tell how emotional this man is because at a point, Diane, like he's like, I just want permission to do this, and Diane extends her hand and puts it on his shoulder and says, "Do what you need to do." And he steps back. He's like,
Mhm.
"I can't. Like, if you touch me, like, I'm gonna crumble. I'm
Yeah.
gonna fall apart. I'm gonna do something." And I thought that that was such a subtle sign because Diane doesn't dig deeper. She's just like, "You do what you need to do. Like, do what you do." And he just takes the step back. And so much was said in that scene without saying really anything at
Because
all.
he can't stop. He can't stop and think, because if he stops and thinks, he's gonna fall apart. He had his moment, but that's all he's going to allow himself. And at right now, he could go home and crumble, but he has this. He's David Lee. This is what he does. If he doesn't do this, what is he going to do? Snivel and cry like everybody else? That's not who David Lee is. So that's what I think. That's probably what he's telling himself. That's like his own little mantra.
Well, and I think this is his way of also like helping Will. Like he couldn't help Will stay alive. Like he's gonna if
Yeah,
Will can't live, this firm's gonna live.
and this is
Like
contribution.
this is what we gotta do.
Yeah.
So while they're having that conversation in the hallway, this is where Alicia first reviews her voicemails. We see there's a voicemail from Kalinda. She's like, we were really trying to get a hold of you. We get a voicemail from Diane, same type of thing. Then there's a message from a missed mobile phone, which I thought was interesting because um once she clicked it, it was then revealed it was Will. I was like, did you block him? Like, did you delete his phone number? Like, what happened here? But it was Will basically saying, hey, Alicia. And then you hear the judge in the background. Hold on a second, judge. I'll call you back.
Uh,
And this is,
I I totally forgot this was a part of this, and I was just like, oh my god, like that's wild.
yeah. And it really, keeps Alicia on this, like, is it me? Was it me type of situation because she's first of all, she looks across, she thinks she sees Will in his office. No, it's not him. So then she listens again. We see that this voicemail came in at 11:32 a.m. and she questions Diane. She's like, "Hey, do you know why he'd be calling me at 11:32 p.m. or a.m.?" And she's like, "No." It's like, "Was she upset with me, or was he upset with me?" And she says, "No." Was it about Candace? And I love here Diane's response because she says, "You can blame yourself for whatever you want." But he was moving fast on a lot of fronts. Like there is a whole other part of Will that you didn't even see. You didn't even know what was going on. And then we get the confession of love from both of them about, well, Diane says, "I loved him." And Alicia says, "I know." And then Diane says, "He loved you." And Alicia doesn't say anything, but she does get up and go to the elevator.
Hey.
Uh, so, and then while she's in the elevator, she's replaying this again, this possible message again. Like, what was the rest of this message? Was it this feud is stupid? Like let's be together, or was it find your own clients? I'm tired of this. So she's still trying to figure out what this all meant.
Yeah, and I can't imagine being in that scenario of right before someone dies, they were trying to get in touch with you. What were they going to say? So we listen. We're going to have our thoughts and opinions about how we should goes about the rest of this episode, but that's gotta drive you crazy. It's gotta
Oh, for
drive you
sure.
nuts.
For sure.
Um,
And then I'm not I want to be clear before we get into the rest of the episode. I'm not blaming Alicia for having these thoughts and doing these things. It's just the actions in which she takes, I think, might be a little over the top.
yeah, just a little bit.
So Kalinda is at the jail, and we see that Jeffrey is being questioned, like, and also like in a gallery like of people, like Jeffrey is the talk of the town. Like this is the moment. Everyone is here. We've got a bunch of cops. We've got a new lawyer for Jeffrey. And the cops are questioning him, saying, like, "Were you angry about Dr. Delaney's testimony?" And Jeffrey keeps saying, like, "I didn't kill Danny. I didn't kill Danny." The new lawyer, who I think is someone, I forgot to look her up,
Well,
but she
she's someone we've seen before. She was a lawyer. You remember when Alicia had to go to this like small town uh court.
yes,
Stephen Root was the judge.
yes,
We had Alicia and Matan backing up
yes,
the prosecutor and the defense attorney for this guy that killed a woman at a music festival or something,
yes,
wrapped her up. We had to figure that out. This woman was um she was on the prosecution for whatever county that was, that small town county. That's who this woman was. But she's been, for whatever reason, hired by the Grant family to
as
defend.
the defense attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've seen
Okay.
her before. She's been in our orbit. Actually, also, 'cause I did look her up. Married to Dylan Baker, which I think we probably mentioned
Oh, I
when he
think we
first
did.
showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Colin Sweeney, for those of you who are
Yes.
bad with names like I am.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So in this whole thing, she's like, we don't know it was Jeffrey that killed him. It could have been a different bullet. There were a bunch of things going on. But she does end up coming out, talking to everyone and saying, like, basically, we're gonna plead insanity here. So that's our play. Kalinda hears that, heads out the door. We've got Peter wrapping up his event. Ha ha ha. Illinois only works when we put our differences aside. I'll tell you what works. I'll tell you what works. For the past 8 years, JB has had our budget and our credit rating up. So that's what works, is we get competent people in freaking office, Peter. Anyway,
Okay.
not that I feel strongly about it. But he's like, okay, like what's going on? And Eli's like, you don't want to know. He's like, what do you mean I don't want to know? He's like, if I tell you, you won't want to meet the press, and you got to go meet the press. And it's he goes, is it about Will? Is it about Will's testimony? Because remember, we still have this whole thing going on with the Justice Department looking into whether Peter was committing voter fraud, basically, and Will is the linchpin here. And Eli's like, no, I mean, he's never gonna. Will's dead.
Oh, he's like, I can assure you, Peter, Alicia's not going to be talking to Will anymore. I was like, oh my god. Like, And
And
he's like,
Peter is, of course, like, I have to call Alicia. I have to speak to my wife. And the motives here, I don't know. I'm very biased, so I don't know if the
listen,
motives are
we're
I
not
need to be with my wife
we're
or I need to make sure she's not thinking about Will ever again.
we're gonna need
But
to have a star conversation after this episode. We will. We're gonna have a star conversation. It needs to happen after this whole thing.
sure.
Okay, that sounds
I'll
good
tell
then.
you where that's going. But okay. So he's like, I need to speak with my wife. So Alicia's at the courthouse, gets the call from Peter, dismisses the call, um, listens to Will's voicemail one more time, and then picks up on the fact that he was gonna go talk to the judge. So she goes, I'm gonna go talk to the judge. So we go over to Cary, who is trying to delay this deposition. And Carrie's like, we're going to need to delay. Alicia's been dealing with the death of someone's close to her. We're going to need 48 hours. And then the other lawyer's like, nope, you're not going to get it. You're like, it has to be today. The judge said today. It has to be today. And Carrie's like, don't be a schmuck. And the other guy's like, guess what? I am a schmuck. So we're gonna have to, like you could do this now, or we can settle five cents on the dollar. And Carrie's like, nope, we're gonna do it now.
And just it's the start of what the look of Carrie's going to be for this episode. Like
Mm,
the way Carrie's going to deal with this is rage. He's
mhm,
going to take
mhm.
it out on someone, so you can see it in his eyes. He's like, fine, let's do this. Let's go right now. It's like, oh, it's not gonna be good.
Okay, schmuck, I see you.
Yeah.
So Alicia's talking to the judge, and he is recounting like what happened. We
Well,
recessed just
like,
before
can we talk about it real quick? Can we talk about
lunch.
it real quick? It's like this man, like Alicia has decided, I'm gonna go see this judge.
Exactly.
Like
Who has
this,
also been through trauma in the
right?
courthouse.
This judge has witnessed multiple murder, like in person, firsthand, was probably in risk of himself being killed. And you can like he opens his chamber's door. He's tired. He wants to go home. He's had a traumatic day. And Lisa's like, yeah, but like I want to talk, I want to talk about what,
Yeah.
what what
Yeah.
I'm going through right now. Like as we said, Alicia's going through it, right? She's all within her rights. But I mean, at some point, it's gotta be like, all right, I'm overstepping
Or
the
like,
boundary right now.
yeah, like when you're ready, I'd love to talk about what happened in the courtroom because I'm trying to piece together what happened with Will. Like that would have been a great, like I understand she's irrational right now. At the same time, it's just like, okay, Alicia, mm,
It's
if
just
Alicia
funny
also
because
wasn't Alicia, I think I would have a different response to this. It's not like she also is acknowledging the fact that she is disturbing, or like she has no acknowledgement of what this man has been through. It's
none.
one thing to like continue asking, it's another thing to acknowledge and then continue asking.
And it's like, it's just to look at it on his face, right? It's like, judge, my trauma as the like former paramour of this man who was killed trumps your trauma of literally witnessing
I,
multiple
I
murders.
am also like, I think it would have been maybe a little too much, but like if there was like a speck of blood on his shirt or something like that, of
Something
like
he did well to convey the tiredness and the worn outness of him. It's like what do you want, like what
well,
is the like
yeah. And she goes in not only like just asking about like what happened that day. She's like, "Can you tell me what happened in court?" He's like, "Okay, we dismissed right before lunch." Then she goes even more like to go even deeper into this for real, Alicia. She's like, "Do you know why he would have called me?" Like,
like
what?
huh?
What? What?
Why? Like, why would I know that? And why would, even if I knew that, why would that be on my mind right now? Like, you like talk about making it all about her, which again,
Exactly.
we fully see, we fully acknowledge the trauma that someone very close to her has just been killed.
Yes.
Acknowledged,
And
understood.
and are frustrated the frick out of the fact that Alicia's doing
Yes, it's just a wild thing to do. And no matter the circumstance, is to come talk to this judge about the the 1 to 2% chance that will explain to the judge why he was calling Alicia. Like, okay, let's take that into account.
That's
And
the
to
how many phone calls do you explain, Jason? How many phone calls do you
I
say I
mean,
have to go call Marissa because I need to find out blah 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 to the world before you know what
right.
I mean?
It's as if we got on the StreamYard today and you were like, hold on a second, Jason, I'm wrapping up a call. And I'd be like, what was that call about? Who are you calling? What was it
I need
about?
to know just in
Like,
case.
yeah, it's just like that's the 1% chance the judge would know what you're talking about. And then to have this man take you to the crime
Well,
scene.
no, the best part was she goes, like, can I see it? The courtroom? What happened? And he's like, why do you
Like,
want to know?
what? What?
Why do you want to know? And then so he opens the door and
I
she
mean,
goes in.
this man has been sent by God himself. Because who on
Yeah.
earth would be like, yes, let's go to the crime scene? And I was just extremely traumatized that and run you through it step by step. Like that, this man is a sight. It's just like, okay, cool.
I understand narratively that we needed someone to do this. However,
I guess.
the fact that it was this guy, and I guess I mean like we've called him the no nonsense judge before, and he lives up to his name, but he does open the door, and we see blood on the floor. Which like the courtroom has not changed or shifted in any way, and he lets us know that Jeremy shot the witness first. The witness was the professor who had the B plus club that both of them were in, killed
Who
him.
at this point is I don't know if we're going to resolve this Danny thing or not, but I'm more and
Probably
more
not.
thinking the math professor did do it. That's what I'm
Probably.
thinking.
Yeah. So he's shot and killed. Will, as we talked about last episode, I was like, if his client has a gun, he's gonna try to like intervene in some way, talk him down. Will does try to do that, but then gets shot next. At this point, ASA Finn Palmer, aka Matthew Good, tries to protect Will from getting shot even more, covers his body, brings him over, and stayed with him the whole time. The judge does get a little emotional when he says that Finn held Will's hand the whole time, um, which is also like very good masculinity practices. Um, and then Alicia was like, "Oh, it is a Paul. Paul, I know he might know about the voicemail basically in her head." And so she's like, "Do you know what hospital he is at?"
Bruh. So now I'm gonna go hassle the next victim in this case to just on the off chance that this person knows what Will's
But
talking
it
about.
hasn't even been 24 hours.
No, it's a lot. And so I maybe because of this scene, I thought maybe in the last episode we had more of a like uh indication of what actually happened because it was replayed in this scene. It's like, okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking we saw more of Will getting shot because as the judge is telling Alicia about these things, she's I guess seeing it in her mind's eye, which Mercer can't do. And
Thank you.
I don't know how she saw Finn Polmar in her mind's eye when she didn't know who Finn Polmar was, but okay, whatever. We'll
Well, it
get rid of
turns
that.
out that like I think he just came from New York or something. Like
Yeah, so
he's a
she doesn't
new
know
on
what he
the
looked
team.
like. She doesn't know
Yeah,
what he looked, but I guess I think it would have been funny, just like she thought a random person shot Will, a random like jail person. I think it would have been funny if she had substituted Finn Palmar just for some I don't know guy in a suit. That would have been funny. Um, but I didn't like seeing it, but I appreciated actually seeing some of the last moments,
yes.
where Will getting shot. Of like okay, yes, like I'm seeing more of it now, and it was terrifying, right? Because you see these like these all the blood is everywhere. It's just like you can just like kind of see it how it happened. And I appreciate the show for not being as graphic as to show like this insane moment where Will is shot, but kind of piecing it together in this way.
Well, I think that is like if you weren't there, that's how you would experience it
Mhm,
as someone connected to Will. So I like that they are treating the audience as someone who knows Will as
mhm,
well.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know why you want to have a star conversation because this scene happens. Peter calls over Eli and says, "Hey, let me use your phone." And I want to use your phone to call Alicia. And um he's like, it's not gonna mean anything. And Peter's like, it's not gonna mean anything if she picks up a call from you and not from me, her husband, the one who loves her the most in the entire world. It's not gonna mean something, Eli. So Alicia's at the hospital. Alicia picks up the phone And he's like, "Oh, I tried to call you on my phone, but I missed you." And Alicia's like, yeah, I had my phone off and I just turned it on, and that's why that's why I'm here." It's like, "Yeah, where are you?" And he's like, "I'm gonna come to you." And she like, "No, Peter, like, no, this is too much. I'm already on this thing, and every time you come over, there's an entourage." He's like, "I am your husband. I should be there." And she's like, "No, you're not getting it. No, I'm okay. No." Uh,
Well, I mean, but no, because he was like, because he said that before. Because he's like, yeah, I mean, I want to be there for you. I'm your husband, right? And as you said, he's like, he calls from Eli's phone, and Alicia picks up because she thinks it's Eli. It's like,
yes.
ooh, it's like, oh no, like, I mean, and Peter takes this for what it rightfully is, right? It's like, she don't want to talk to you right now. Like in her mind right now, Will is high above you. Will is her the love of her life, and she cannot speak to you because she left Will for you and her family. She can't deal with you right now, and she gives these excuses. She says these lies. These are lies because she sat there and saw Peter's name on her phone and declined the call. So she's like, "Oh, my phone's off," and yeah, and Peter knows it's a lie, and like, and Peter's like, "I'm gonna come to you because I'm your husband. Like I should be there for you. I should be there." Like, I mean, that's just, listen. This is a complicated situation. My wife's former affair partner, paramour, has just been killed. Whoa, what do I do? But I'm your husband, so I guess that's what husbands do, right? And Alicia throws out this excuse, which I mean is kind of true as well. Of like, you're the governor. If you're here, all your
Yeah.
people are here, and I don't want to make a scene. Which I mean, it's really more of like, I don't want to see you right now.
I
I'm in a
think
will headspace, and I want to stay in a will headspace. I don't need or want to hear or see you right now.
I think my biggest problem with this is because it is a complicated situation. Like if anything proves in my mind that these two people got married, it's the fact that both of them put themselves first in this situation. Because Peter is like, "I'm your husband. I should be there." Not, "Hey, what do you need from me? How can I support you?" What can he is making it so that he can be the good husband, so that he can feel loved and he can feel valued and he can be there because he's her husband. Like all of these things, he is making it that way. At the same time, we have Alicia standing in a hospital wanting to talk to someone who just got shot, to talk about her lover's life, or at last moments of his life. And so I think here it does show the similarities between these two people. And I really don't think that I think Peter was trying to do what he thought she wanted, but he never asked her what she needed. And he
That's not
never
Peter's.
asked
That's not
what
Peter's style. That's not Peter's style.
that's my whole
Peter's
problem. That's my whole
Yeah,
problem with
for
them.
sure. Peter is a very much a like stereotypical middle-aged, uh guy of just like, hey, this is what the husband does, right? Like does not think about nuance, does not think about like, other people's thoughts or opinions. I'm a man, I'm a husband. This is what we do. Like if you
It's
actually
yeah,
stop,
and I get it. Like he was raised by Jackie. Like
yeah,
I get where it comes from. But I'm just saying like this. If you think I'm gonna give a star for this,
I
I
I just
am not
I think for
shining
most
camping here.
I think for most of the episode, Peter's heart is in the right place. And I think that's what I'm getting from Peter.
He tries.
Because Peter could very much so be like, huh, I mean, as some people in office would do at certain times in history, say, oh, that person's dead. Great. I hated them. Like,
Let
Peter,
me write a 5 paragraph essay on social media about why the death of this person is so great for me.
right. He could have done that.
Well,
But
and it is we I will say it is advantageous for him politically that Will is dead.
it
And
is.
and he did not bring that up. So
Well, he's about to bring it up with Eli in a second as we're going to go through this.
well, right, but go ahead.
But he's thinking of this as a human being. Like this man is dead. I don't care about the history. This is bad. This is terrible. I did not want him to die. Like I did not like the man, but I didn't want him to die. And this is something that was very close to my wife. No matter what. So I do want to be there for her in a way that Peter thinks is appropriate.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I
I'm just
listen.
like, okay. I mean, I think I am too biased to have this
I
conversation with
see
you.
that. I see that.
So
I see that.
I'm like, I don't think just because there's I just don't like him. But at this point, um, so first of all, we need to talk about how Alicia ended this call because she says, "Thank you, goodbye."
Mhm.
Like very like she. Yes, I know she's in shock, but I'm like, oh, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying with that? And then Peter, who had to ask Eli how to dial Alicia on the phone, then looks at Eli's call list and says, "Oh, you called Dubek from Justice? Well, how could you just for a moment, Eli? Could you for a moment not think about the angles?" Again, I think Peter is saying all this to make himself feel good, but that's just me. Um, and Eli's like, "Look, don't you dare get on my back for like trying to protect you. That is my whole entire job. And don't you think I would want to do anything else right now? It's a very similar to David Lee reaction in terms
Mhm.
of I need to do something to keep things moving. And don't you think I'd rather want to do anything else?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny to think about that comparison between David Lee and Eli Gold, where when David and Eli had been in the same spaces, it's been like they've sparred, they've been
I
on,
love it.
but they're just alike, which is just like which is so says so much about those two gentlemen and those two characters. That's great. And yeah, so and just as an etiquette lesson, if you ask someone for their phone, do not do extra stuff. Do not be out looking
Yeah,
at
what
call
the
logs.
frick? Like
Do
what
not
the
be looking at
frick?
photos. You asked me for my phone as a favor, and now you're gonna go through my phone. Like, do your stuff. Give my phone back. I'm looking at.
This is why I think Peter wasn't as altruistic as others may seem.
Uh, you
I
know,
mean, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to show evidence towards my case.
I guess. So, I mean, I think Peter's Peter, and he's like he accidentally saw it. He's like, oh, hold up, you were like I almost thought this was gonna be like a fight of like, are you trying to turn on me? You saw Will was out, and now you wanna stick up for
No,
state's evidence. You
I
want to turn
mean,
on me, rat? But it's like
obviously,
you're,
the call, yeah, the call had to be like, Will is dead. Like,
yeah. So you got
that.
nothing. So leave us
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alicia at the hospital, again, at a hospital where you can only see people if you are next of kin or whatever. She asks at the desk to see Finn Palmer. At this moment, she imagines Will coming up next to her and
Oh,
saying, this was just a big mistake. Can you believe it? They thought it was me because the body was shot in the face." I was like,
whoa,
okay,
that's graphic.
okay. Um, and we hear someone step up and say, "Oh, are you here to see Finn?" And it's Maria, Finn's assistant, who says, "He is in surgery, Alicia." And Alicia's like, "Oh, like, no, I didn't know Finn, the man in surgery who's fighting for his life right now. I knew Will." And Maria's like,
You think Alicia like turns to the nurse lady? She's like, "Hey, you think I can like get some scrubs and like scrub up? I'm disinfecting everything. Do you think like is he like knocked out or is he like in a twilight where I can ask him some questions? Like I can just get in there real quick while he's getting this, he's getting his shoulder stitched up. Just ask some questions if that's okay with you guys. Like it's like that seems like the demon time that Alicia's on right now. I'm just like I need this information now, no matter what. I don't know. I don't care what this man's going through.
yeah. And Maria's like, "It was so weird. I just saw Will in the plea bargain thing." And this was like
Ooh,
music to
you
Alicia's
were
ears.
there.
Like, "You were there. Do you know why? Do you know like why he made a phone call right before this? Like, do you know that? Do you know why?" And she goes, "I don't know, but he was pissed that someone was stealing his clients." And then this is Alicia going, "Oh crap, must have been to me about Candace." And then
Mhm.
she leaves, and Maria's like, "Do you want me to tell Finn that you stopped by?" She's like, "No."
This is a momentary like clearing of like of some clarity of actually this is a bad idea. Don't tell him that I was doing this, please.
This is bad. This
Or maybe just Alicia now just has her information. This is the information Alicia was looking for. This is the information she got, and it is not what she was looking forward to. She's like, "Oh no, our mission's over. You don't need to tell him anything. I'm done with this now."
We get an update from David Lee that he's called all the clients, but there is a client named Bob Klepper who is a problem, and he wants to hear from Diane today before he, makes any decisions. And Diane says, "Oh yeah, he was one of Will's top clients." At this point, she's like, "Do you think we chose the wrong profession?" And I want to say, like, Diane Lockhart is one of my favorite characters, and so I know a lot about this character, and it's really been interesting watching this back. But I love it when she questions her choices in life, which she is forced to do it many times in her career, and this is one of them because she's like, "Do you think we chose the wrong profession? Like, how is this even a conversation that I have to have? How is this even a thing that's going on?" But you know what? Tell him to come in because that's what Will would do. Again, this guiding force of what Will would do is going to be something that sticks with Diane for a while. Cut to the deposition over at Floric Agos. Cary's like, Cary's fuming inside, but he's like staring off into space during this deposition. We hear the doctor say that Candace was fired because of her performance. And then it's tossed to Cary, like in the deposition, to do questioning. And he's just like, he waits, and then he throws a bunch of files and basically says, "Are you sure it wasn't because you were going to have sex with her or trying to have sex with her or anything because you've had sex with your massage therapist? And here's all the stuff from your massage therapist that says that you had sex with your massage therapist. So here we go." And this gets schmuck lawyer man to stand up and say, yeah, so I think like we're gonna have to delay." And Cary's like, "Let's get the judge on the line because you said this happened today and now you're the one that wants to delay." And he says, "I want to get my anger and my aggressions out by destroying your client, so sit the hell down."
Ooh, you don't know what you mess with when you poke the sleeping bear that was Cary. I was like, this was freaking great because, as you know, as I said earlier, it's like it's showing the different types and versions of grief, right? And instead of going off and crying somewhere, Cary's going to take it out on somebody in a racial way. He's like, "Get the judge on the line." Like I feel like he won't be in a giving mood. Like the way he was, like the edge in his voice, just like, ooh, like this is a Cary we've never seen before, and it was great. It was fantastic.
It was great. But Melinda decides to go to the morgue, and I'm just like, how many times do you need to see this dead body? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? But she goes and she again with Jenna to get the information because Jenna's the key to access in this whole thing. So she talks to the medical examiner and learns that there were 3 wounds, and they're like, "We want to know how he died." Like, and he's like, "Oh, I'll have my report tomorrow." And he says it was the first shot that killed him. And the other 2 were survivable, but the first shot was at close range, so it had to be Jeffrey Grant. Then we get another scene with Kalinda and Will's body, which I have to say, from a production standpoint, was very interesting because the man lying on the thing was not Josh Charles.
Definitely not Josh Charles.
Not Josh Charles. But then we got like close ups of Josh Charles's face, which were taken probably at another time. But Kalinda walks up to the body and puts the sheet over him, and I'm like, what if the man's in the middle of the thing? But whatever. She closes the sheet that covers him with the sheet and then walks out of the room and needs a moment. Jenna follows her out of the room and she's like, no, I need a moment. So Jenna goes back in the morgue with the dead body. Like, I don't know. She just like hangs out with Dead Will for a while. While Kalinda then gets a call from Alicia.
Man.
And so, like, you can totally tell that something personal has happened because even in the way that this dialogue is being delivered, like, I don't even know what the direction was, but it is very cold between these 2 people. Like, I can't believe there's no conversation. She's just like, "I'm going crazy. I don't know. It's no, like, you doing okay? You all right?" Like how people would be in, like, I don't know, a friendship.
Yeah, I think this was so. I really wish this didn't happen. I really wish they hadn't thrown this in here because this is the first time we've seen Kalinda and Alicia even speak on the phone in at least
A long time.
10 episodes. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a roundabout number. It's been a long time. Um, and you're right, it did feel weird. It felt as if they were trying to intimate that Alicia and Kalinda still had some sort of relationship, but it's like, "Mm," but it didn't come off that way. I know you wanted it to, but it didn't. And then there's this whole thing of like, what are you gonna do, Kalinda? Kalinda's like, I don't know. And Alicia's like, oh, sounds like you do know. As if Alicia knows what Kalinda's goal
Yeah.
is here. Like, because as we're gonna talk through the rest of this episode, Kalinda's gonna go on a journey to like maybe get some retribution for Will against Jeffrey. And they make it seem like Alicia knows that just from talking to Kalinda in this moment. Where it's just like, what? Like this the dialogue was weird, the moment was weird, and it felt inauthentic because why is this the first time Alicia and Kalinda are talking on the phone? Why did it take this for us to see that? And you're almost intimating that it has been happening, but I don't know. It was so weird.
Yeah, and like I don't think that like the first thing out of Alicia's mouth is I'm going crazy.
As if they've been chit chatting the whole time. There's no
Yeah.
introduction. There's no like, hey girl, it's been a minute. Or I mean, because I know they did have a call earlier in this episode where Kalinda broke the news, but it's not as if they haven't talked to each other in a long time. It's just like, girl, I'm going crazy right now, as if they're besties.
I feel like, when you email people, there comes a point where you like no longer include the like hi Jason part of it. Like
Mhm.
it's just like
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't earned the omission of a salutation in an
Right. Well,
email.
it's like texting. Like when we text each other, we don't
Like
give any
yeah.
honorifics or introductions of like, hey, how you've been doing? How's it going? It's just like boom, boom. This is what it is. This because we already have that. Like we see each other at least once a
Rapport.
week. We have a
Yeah.
rapport already, and like it felt weird because we haven't seen them interact before now for a long time. And they just kind of jumped into it where it's like, no, we're not prepared for that. We need a reintroduction of this relationship because we haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we're really tripping up on here of like, we know it's been a long time, but you're acting like it hasn't been.
And then to go from a scene that seems so disjointed to the characters to one that seems so in line with the characters was a little jarring for me because this next scene with Alicia, I mean with Diane, chef's kiss in my opinion.
Oh, fantastic.
So good because okay, so Klepper arrives, the client that was Will, and he's like, "Look, I loved Will. I'm so like this is, but I got this like, and I want to stay, but there's this suit, and I just I need to know where I stand." And he's like, "Diane, will you be able to take over from Will?" And Diane's like, "Yeah, but I'm going to fire you as a client." And he's like, "Well, I could go to Lake and Tadelo." She's like, "Yeah, you can." And I just called them and they won't take you. It's like, "Well, Floragago's solicited me." It's like, "Yeah, I just got off the phone with Cary. They're not going to take you either. They liked Will. They hate you. So, and how you handled this." And then Klepper's like, "Oh, no, oh, okay, okay, okay. I'll give you a few days. I'll give you a few days." Diane's like, "Nah, you're fired." And then he goes, "It's not what Will would do." And Diane stands right up, looks this man dead in the eyes, and says, "If I were dead, it's exactly what Will would do."
Fist pump. I was fist pumping. I was like, let's go. Let's freaking go, Diane. Like, it's like, and I almost wish you would have seen the phone call from Diane to Cary to be like, this asshole is about to call you. And I know we've had our beefs. I know we've had our issues, but he was effing with me about Will. Like Carrie's like, enough said. He's not coming over here. Like,
Especially not today. Anything you want, Diane. Anything you want.
yeah, like, bro, I was like, yes, I was pumping my fists, like, go, Diane, get his ass, get his ass, get his ass, hit him again, Diane, hit him again. It was so great.
And it was made even better by the fact that David Lee was in the room, kind of gave Diane her room to like say all of this. And then as Diane closes the door, she's like, "That felt good." And David Lee goes, "Turn me on."
Woo! I was like,
So good.
yes, oh,
So good.
so
Which is
freaking good.
like perfect, inappropriate comment by David Lee that shows affection. Like it's like if you did not know David Lee, like you could read that as sexual harassment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But because they have this like thing,
context,
it's
context.
kind of like letting me know that like okay, David Lee's like he's getting back. He's on his way up.
Mhm.
So Alicia goes home, gets her glass of wine, and Grace decides, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell my mom it's okay. He's with God now. And Alicia
Oh,
goes, what does that mean? Like,
yo,
what does that mean? Like he's with the angels and the clouds? Like what does that even mean?
Grace, Grace, baby, Grace. I do not have the time or the patience to deal with your shit right now. Like this is what she's telling Grace without saying those words. Like, I don't give a good goddamn about what you're saying right now because and listen, I haven't had a traumatic death like this, but I've had, deaths in the family, deaths of people close to me that, you know, really makes you think about
The afterlife.
the
What happens
afterlife,
next?
what's going on, why this happened. And this felt very true to some of these like moments you think of like, what does it all mean? What is this? And then to have someone like Grace just saying these things to you and you're in this headspace. Like I thought this was very well written, extremely well performed by everyone here, which is this whole episode was. It was just like, oh, was such a good conversation. But we're gonna go through it all. But I just
Yeah, yeah, no, it's very good. She's like, why? Do you think he's in heaven? And Grace is like, well, people who do good things go to heaven. Basically, that's what I can tell you. She's like, well, he did some bad things because he wanted to be good. And Alicia's like, I can't believe in God. Like, I can't believe this right now, Grace. I can't because here's the thing. I'm looking at the situation. And I don't see any good here. This this man died by accident. Like I'm supposed to find meaning in this. I'm supposed to find something. Like I'm supposed to find meaning. And Grace's return to this volley is, what does it mean if there's no God? And Alicia's like, well, then at least it's not wishful thinking, like at least that's going on.
yeah, because she
And
goes
Alicia,
like Grace like, is it would it be better if there was no God?
yeah,
And
right.
Alicia's like, not better, just truer. It's like, oof. It's like, oh yeah.
And then she says, um, Grace says, well, maybe believing in the bad is wishful thinking too. And she's like, I just want you to be happy, Mom. And Mom says, or Alicia says, I will be happy eventually. And gets interrupted by a call by Finn.
And it's like to have a person that is so steadfast in their belief is great. It's great for you. If you have that faith, that's fantastic. Sometimes I wish I had that amount of faith. All right. But it's like, and then when things like this happen, you really are just like, but why? Like if there's a God controlling all of this, like, why would they do that to this person? Why would they do that? I'm sure Alicia's mind. Why would they do that to me? Because we know that Alicia's in a very me mindset right now.
Right.
Why would God do that to me if that was the thing?
Right.
Why would he do that to Will? Why would a God, why would your God, Grace, do this?
Yeah.
And I know that in Alicia's mind, it's like, yeah, I'm at least not tricking myself into thinking there's some magical being in the sky, like controlling these things. Again, in Alicia's mind, I'm not saying anything about what I believe. I want to make that clear. In Alicia's mind, it's like, why would I? Why does it make it better for me to trick myself into thinking there's some greater purpose or some greater plan at play? At least I'm not deluding myself into thinking there's something happening here. It's just truer. Is the words that stick with me. It's just truer. Things happen randomly. Things happen that no one controls. I would rather live with that knowledge than to make myself believe into something that I don't really believe is there.
Well, and I think that this conversation just in general shows the places where people can go after an event like this. Is like you can find your solace in religion or spirituality and beliefs,
Yeah.
or you can find your solace in facing what actually happened. And I think for most of us, at least I'll speak for myself, it's always an oscillation between the two. I'm always going like, what is the meaning with this? And then this is what happened. And then like going back and forth. And so the answer I think is in between this in some way. And I think it was a very interesting conversation. I can understand why the Kings put it here, because also they're trying to speak to the audience and let the audience know, like, this was a sudden death. This is what's going on, and these are conversations that you might be having, characters are having as
Yeah.
well. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to think, because I went to CCD and was raised Catholic and all this stuff, so like big God presence in my childhood. I'd be like, if God loves us, why did he create bees? Like, why bees? I really just
Why?
don't like bees.
And why did he kill a little boy in My Girl that was
Yeah,
allergic to bees?
exactly. He just needed his glasses. He needed glasses.
Yeah.
Like, yes, exactly. Like, so these are unanswerable questions, but I like that this was in here. I don't necessarily like the fact that, like, Finn calls and brings her out of it, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
here.
it's a great moment of like, and it's also true to life of like you have two people, one that does not really believe these things, and another that does. That's when the person that believes trying to comfort the other person, and the other person's like, nope,
Yeah,
not having it. This is not the time for this. Nope. And like for Alicia to be so blunt with Grace, where and every other time we've seen with Alicia, she tries to cushion a blow. She tries to worded a certain way. It's like, no, your stuff is BS. Like I don't believe that. Like, and you can f off with with your nonsense. I'm not having it right now. I was like, wow, really powerful to me, really great.
yeah, yeah. Finn calls and he's like, "Hey, I heard you called. I'm high on drugs, basically." And Ollie's like, "Oh, yeah, but like that can wait for tomorrow." And he's like, "Let's go on over. Let's go on over right now."
At least it took a minute to be like, Alicia has some
Yeah,
courtesy.
at least we're there.
And she was,
Like, you recognize the fact that you just got out of surgery.
yeah, she was willing to put it off, but Finn, kind of demanded that she come and see him and talk to him. So I was like, okay, at least they've tried to redeem her a little bit with the really just kind of boundary pushing and destroying that she was doing early this episode.
Yes, yes. So Kalinda, uh, continuing on her quest, is now at a point where she's going to confront Jeffrey Grant. She's heard what happened in the courthouse with the sheriff's story. She's gone to see where the lawyer is going to take this. She's talked to the ME. She's going to go to confront Jeffrey Grant,
Well,
and of course, she needs Jenna to.
of course,
How much power does a detective in Chicago
right,
have? Like,
right.
it's just like, what is happening here?
I mean, I guess it's a detective, like police officer thing. I think they do have some level of authority over like uniformed police in a
But
way.
this is also the Office of Corrections versus the police department, and so, this
Sure.
was a little
They seem
that's
to
the
have some
brain
they
going
seem to
on.
have come some kind of rapport or whatever. But I do think it's interesting the journey Kalinda was on this episode of like I need to like she's doing her detective work to figure out, is Jeffrey to blame for Will's death? Because if he is to blame, I'm going to take some steps, which I think is like I, I need to figure out how exactly Will died. But I don't think
I
that really matters because I think Jeffrey is still the root of why Will is dead. No matter whether Will got hit by a police officer trying to kill Jeffrey or whatever, the root was still Jeffrey.
I think she's trying to figure out how to process this. As we've seen, Kalinda is not good with, like, she processed her emotions with her ex-husband by doing all the stuff that she did with her ex-husband. We've seen her take baths to things. We've seen her wreck cars. We've seen her do this stuff. And so I think what she's trying to do is like, I feel this thing. What am I going to do with it? And so what I think we see in the scene here, because she goes with Jenna, basically Jenna uses her privilege here to say, "Hey, guard on duty watching Jeffrey for suicide watch, why don't you like go to the other side of the building? Like, you leave your post for a bit." And Kalinda approaches Jeffrey with his belt, and he's like, "Hey," she goes, "Hey, why'd you do it?" He's like, "I didn't want to." It's like, "What? You killed my friend. Why did you do it?" "I didn't mean to. I didn't." And then he says again, like, "I didn't kill Danny." I'm like, okay. Um, and then dangles this belt in front of him. Like, you want to die? I have your belt. I got rid of the guard for 10 minutes. You have plenty of time. And this is like, I think, quote unquote, old Kalinda response of like, okay, you should, like, eye for an eye. Will's dead. You should die. I made it possible for you to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I made the conditions right to do it. But then she says, no, Will was a good man and I loved him. And you're going to have to live with this.
Yeah, I think this was. I mean, you said this was Oakland. What?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Like this, I'm trying to see, like, the question for me with Kalinda is like, what does Will's death change in her? And I think she would have gone past the post. Like she would have in the past done some things. But here is like, I'm just gonna walk up to the line. I'm just walking up to the line. There's literally a fence between her and this person. And she is like, this is as far as I can go. This is as far as what
Yeah, but I think they've done enough in the past to kind of tell us that Kalinda will approach that line and will back off her. Like we've never really like we still don't know whether or not she killed her ex-husband or not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like okay, but that's like the biggest like the biggest cross to the line that she's gone up to. And I almost thought that she was gonna let Jeffrey hang himself. I was like, because that would have been crossing a line for sure. That we don't know that she's ever crossed. We're not sure. We think she might have with her ex-husband. We don't know. But it's like, and this again, so powerful. Where like in the way that Jeffrey's like trying to grab his belt, and she like we see the close-up of Jeffrey putting his fingers on the belt because Jeffrey wants to end this. He wants to do this.
We saw him trying to shoot himself with the gun after he did everything.
And like to see him touching the belt, and then Kalinda like, nope, not gonna let you get off that easy. Not gonna let you do what you want because I want you to live with this. Because this is the last thing. The last thing you want is live with this. So I'm gonna let you do that. I'm gonna torture you by letting you live with it. Which we've seen in thousands of other television shows and movies and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess in that way that is classic Kalinda. Like I'm gonna torture you in some way.
And and we see like Jeffrey like crying as Kalinda takes the belt and leaves. So it's like, woof. And I almost thought, I was like, is Kalinda actually going to do this? I did remember. I was like, is she going to let him hang himself right now? And she doesn't. She pulls back, which is like, I'm definitely glad she did because I do think at some point that would kind of haunt you a little bit if you let him go through with it. But yeah, that would again just such a powerful moment.
Agreed. Speaking of powerful moments, well, not yet. We're getting there. We still have to go to the hospital and talk to Finn. So Alicia goes to the hospital to talk to Finn, and this man is coming out of surgery. He is high on drugs because that's as you would be, and he's like, well, I do want to mention that like he was reading Cicero, and I don't know enough about that world to get the joke, but if you do, congratulations. There was a joke about Cicero there.
He was an orator, a lawyer. He was a lawyer that was assassinated.
Okay. That's probably it. Okay. So then he's like, I liked Will. I was losing. He was up on me like I was losing. At the end, he kept moving his lips like he wanted to talk, and this is like torture to Alicia. Like what he reached up and grabbed my hand and kept squeezing it until the paramedics arrived. Like this was not a man that wanted to die. Basically, like he was still like looking for connection, looking to be there. And he says he was angry during the plea bargain. And Alicia again. Oh my God.
Must have been about me.
What?
Had to been about me.
What? And Finn goes, at some guy. And I cannot even tell you the moment he says some guy, Alicia sits down. She's like, oh my God. Thank God. It's not me. It was a guy. It wasn't me. And I just was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So it wasn't a guy. It was Damien.
I was like, oh, Damien. Apparently he was stealing clients. I was like, stealing clients to go where and do what? Like, what are you talking about? They work in the same law firm. Is he like, was he trying to go like start his own thing? I was confused by that, but I was like,
I
okay.
was,
I
yeah.
was like, hopefully that means that before Will died, he fired Damien. I don't know. I was like, hopefully that was his last call. We'll never see Damien again.
Yeah, I don't yeah. I I don't know what that was about. But then Alicia starts crying. I put in my notes. Alicia breaks down because whatever. At this point, I was like, just kind of over it. Um, and she says he called me right before his session. Do you know why? Man on drugs who has been shot and has already told you that it wasn't you. Do you know why he might have called me? And Finn says, well, I was showing him some pictures. Like he says, no, but I did show him some pictures of my kids and we had conversations about my kids. And she's like, that sounds like Will, like in her mind. And then she goes home and out of the freaking shadows, none other than Peter Florrick. He
This
comes out
yeah,
and
this is
he's
a little
like,
much. This I was like, Peter, I wish you had done this. Like this is probably not the move. I think you probably
you.
already got the hints that she was not
Thank
feeling you.
you.
She was not feeling you right now. So probably should have given her some space. I was like, this is a little over the line, but okay. All right.
So not only does he like come out of the shadows, she doesn't know he's there. Second, then he's like, are you all right? She says, I don't know. I'm really sorry about Will. I know. And then he like forces this woman into a hug, like literally, like pulls her into his body, hugs her, and Alicia is just standing there. She's like,
Dead fish.
uh-uh,
Just dead
nah.
fish. Just like she would have slunk down out of the hug of just like and just fall on the floor of like, leave me alone. Stop.
Nuh-uh. And he like notices.
Yeah, Peter's on the other. Peter's like at her back. Of just like, why are you hugging me back? Like she's just got her hands on her at her side. I'm hugging her here. Why is she hugging me back? I'm like, and it's also I think just rightful concern on his part of like, this ain't good. Like this is not.
Like, no matter what the reason is, this isn't good.
Well, it's like I've lost her. I've lost her to the specter. Like it was bad enough when Will was alive and I was losing to a live Will. I thought I got a reprieve from that when they started beefing and fighting. But now this is worse now that Will's dead because now I'm competing with the spirit and the ghost of Will Gardner.
Well, which you can't compete with because already in Alicia's head, she's like replaying a what if type of situation of what this voicemail could have been. And it's him saying, Alicia, I'm sorry. I want what we had. I want you, only you, forever.
Oh,
End scene.
oh, just that kills you. That just kills you for Alicia. And to be noted, this is the episode that Juliana Margulies submitted for an Emmy, and she won off of that submission. So she won her Emmy off of this
My
episode.
eyes are so far back in the back of my head because this is
Yeah,
like the most. I mean, yes, her performance, okay, fine. But I was so distracted by
by the me of it all. Of
yes.
like, I don't care. I don't give a F what you've been through. I need to know about what this man who I used to go with. Like, is he your husband? Like, is that why you're so obsessed with this? Like, no, no. We were fighting. And we used to have a thing like years ago. Like, we had a thing a couple
Like
years ago. Can you
in
imagine?
college also.
Can you just imagine if you're the other person? Like, wait, so you're not even currently in a relationship with this man? You're like, this is a man you used to have relations with, and you were fighting, and now you are obsessed with finding out if he was thinking about you in his last moments, and you're messing with me, a witness to the carnage here. You think this is what I want to be doing right now? Like, you think,
I just yeah,
yeah,
and I'm not saying like I wouldn't be curious also, and I'm not saying I wouldn't and I'm not saying that I can't understand that like grief like this would cause you to not think about other people's problems. I just think it was one right after another. It was like a snowball of it that it was distracted enough for me because it just it just was. It
yeah,
just
it was
was.
weird.
And I like
It was
I would
weird.
want to know. I would want to know about the voicemail, but I would also, maybe wait till after the funeral. I would
Yeah,
also like,
something.
maybe just like let people grieve or whatever, but that's just me.
Yeah, that it was kind of a wild thing to do, but hey, we move. Um, and I did really appreciate the stages of grief, right? Like, and the
Yes.
the thing the thing about this episode was like all these people worked through their grief by doing what they're best at, right? Like Kalinda was investigating. That's what she does to like she feels like that's what she needs. That's her calling in this moment is to investigate her friend's death because that's what she can do instead of just falling into a puddle of tears right now. David Lee is doing his calling of the clients. He's doing all this to
Client
avoid
management.
to
Yeah.
avoid feelings right now. We're avoiding our grief. We're avoiding our feelings by doing what we're best at. Cary kind of gets pulled into it, but he still is doing what he does. He's going to destroy his opponent to get his grief out right now. And and Diane is still at work. Diane's not at home snuggled up with Kurt. She's at the office doing what she needs to
We
do.
don't even see her call Kurt to tell Kurt that it was the guns.
Hey, your guns that you love? One of them just killed my best friend. And like, Diane calls Will her best, like she tells David, my best friend just died. I was just like, yeah, yike.
Yeah. Yeah. So from this point forward, I mean, not saying that this is going to be a show without physical Will, but I think that Will's impact continues to be
Mm-hmm.
something that is dealt with throughout this and going into the next series even.
Yeah, the echoes of Will Gardner will be felt for the rest of time in this universe.
Yep.
Yes, that was the episode. Listen, long one, but we had a lot to talk through. We had a lot to talk through, a lot of feelings to feel. It's all part of the mourning process. As Marissa said earlier, be on the lookout for the bonus coverage. We had a conversation with Carolyn Mernick, who covered this episode, covered episode 15, the death episode of Will Gardner for Vulture at the time. So we talked to her a little bit about what the feeling was, the general vibe was surrounding that time, the experience of writing the recap for it, and then we just got into a talk about like the real world applications of this episode and how that all works. It was a good conversation. Check it out. It'll be right in your feed after this episode. We're also going to go through some feedback we got from you guys out there. We're going to talk a little bit more about what was happening at the time, the implications of it, and so we'll have that for you in your feed shortly after this episode. I think. Marissa, what are you thinking? A couple of days after this episode's out?
Yeah, it'll be like midweek between this one and the next one.
Yep. So that'll be for you in your feeds there.
Yes.
Marissa, you want to tell the folks where they can find you, what you're up to?
You can find me at it's me, marissag.com. You can find links to the podcast that I'm on, including, this one. We do have a YouTube feed. If you have not checked us out over there, you get to see Jason's got a much more exciting background than I do. I unfortunately, one time blurred my background and haven't been able to figure out where I blurred it on which thing that controls my camera. So tune in to see if I ever figure that out. But Jason's got fun things to see. So if you want to check us out on YouTube, you can find a link at itsmemarissag.com. You can also find me on World One Podcast, where I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time, and slowly but surely making my way through the final frontier by watching Star Trek The Next Generation with my sister over on the USS Sisterhood. Jason, that's what's up with me. What's going on in the messy mess land of mess?
Just chopping up about mess, about trash TV, whatever you want to call it. Exciting news in my trash TV world. We just got a premiere date for the
Yeah.
next season of Married at First Sight. It's going to be coming out July 12th.
Whoa.
So
Whoa, that's so soon. That's like,
yeah, real soon.
yeah.
And so we're gonna be talking about it back over on the Rob Has Podcast Network on the Love at First Sight feed, where we do every season Married at First Sight. We're also still on our own Patreon of the Perfect Match podcast, which is kind of like also what we call our podcast. It's confusing. I know. Don't worry about it. Just go over to Patreon and go to the Perfect Match podcast. You'll find me and Asia Welch talking about Married at First Sight. We're talking about season 12 until the new season comes back. We got to figure out what that looks like. Are we still going to be covering the whole season? We'll cover the new season. We got to think about all that. But go over to Patreon and check that podcast out. We have a great time over there. We have fun talking about this trash TV world of ours. And yeah, that's it for me. That's it for Marissa. Until next time, stay good.